Welcome to our program for this afternoon. If I could get everybody to please stand, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I Thank you. So I'm just going to do a couple of little announcements real quick here. I have David Lara Tejas from Supervisor Gutierrez's office with Evan Morgan, and they're going to be doing a PowerPoint, and it is going to be the Homeless to Work program. Then I have Officer Hickson, and obviously from the Banning Police Department, and we have Jeffrey Platt, who is from Opportunity Village, and then I have Lucy Martin and Devon Smith from Faith in Action. So I want to make sure that everybody understands I'm going to have two microphones, one on one side, one on the other. If you would like to ask a question after they have done their presentation, wait till the microphone comes to you, please, because it's being broadcast on Channel 97, and everybody wants to hear what your question is and how they answer it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with David first, and he's going to do his PowerPoint. And again, please wait until after his presentation, and then you may ask him questions, because I don't want you to forget your questions. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Michelle. Didn't know I was going to go first. So. Okay, first of all, I just want to thank all of you for being here, and a special thank you to Michelle for inviting us to present this program. Supervisor Gutierrez really wanted to be here. I was telling Michelle the story. I was going in between him and his scheduler, and he just got so frustrated, he finally said, "What time's my flight?" And it ended up being 2 o'clock out of LAX. So there was no way that he could make it. But he really values this community. He's been here a number of times. He was here as a candidate. Gary can tell you that, and Michelle and Virginia, that he came out before he was a candidate to see about the Banning Point project. And those, I think most of you know that the supervisor did give a letter of support opposing that project along with the Pass Action Group. So thank you. Oh, I need my clicker. Just a little bit about my boss, the supervisor. He grew up in Riverside County, just on the other side of the Badlands in Moreno Valley. And he was educated there. He grew up there and was educated there. He was an educator for 14 years and taught special ed students. He was mayor of Moreno Valley for 3 terms, and that was when he brought the Homeless to Work program. He was elected county supervisor in November and took office in January. One of the things I wanted to point out here, we have a number of cities and a number of unincorporated areas in our district. I've always heard the term community of interest. I have always heard that term, that whenever they're trying to have a district, they always want to make sure that if there's a community of interest that have common interests, that they should be kept together. And I've never noticed that more than I did when I took this job and I came to the Pass. The Pass area is what they're talking about when they talk about a community of interest. And as you can see here, Banning, Beaumont, Calimesa, and Cherry Valley, and Cabazon are all part of our district. So the county is aware that this is a community of interest, and they did keep it intact together. We've only been in office since January. Our last staff meeting in June, I was bringing up when the supervisor was talking about the new initiatives that he's bringing to District 5. I made the comment that this is after 6 months. This is after only 6 months. The supervisor had a program in Moreno Valley when he was mayor called Hire Moval. Evan remembers that. He and I were working with the supervisor at that time. And he has brought that over to the county, to District 5, and actually has 3 programs. Hire District 5, having somebody who lives in District 5 being hired by somebody in District 5, hire a vet, and hire a senior. All of these are not just talk. There's actually financial incentives for the employer, and there's a stipend for the vet and the senior, okay? So this is something that is very important to him. Seniors, veterans, and the homeless. Very, very big for Supervisor Gutierrez. We also have the Pass Mobility Project, and we are launching, I believe we have launched the mobile app, right? The mobile app is almost launched. This is our tech guy. Yeah, it's just about there. So we're getting really close. It's not advancing. It won't advance. Okay. One of the things that the supervisor always talks about when he talks about this program is the fact that there are a number of factors affecting homelessness. And we understand that this program is going to help a certain group of homeless people, and not everyone. And if that was the case, we wouldn't have a panel today. We have a panel today because it does require a multifaceted approach. And one of the things that the county talks about is wraparound services, and I love that term. It's an awareness that it's housing, it's mental health, it's physical health, it's job opportunity. There's a lot of factors that go into it. I'm very honored to be here with this panel, with the police department who do such a great job. I have seen a paradigm shift with police. Living in Moreno Valley, I would see the sheriffs in Moreno Valley interacting with the homeless, and there's an understanding now, and there's a real dynamic that is going on with law enforcement, specifically with the homeless. I had the opportunity to go on the count, the county count of the homeless in Moreno Valley. It was one of my first assignments. It was 5:30 in the morning. I didn't feel all that special, but it was kind of like boot camp. It was something that, reflecting back on, it was really, really a great opportunity. And it gave me an opportunity to see how law enforcement is engaged with the homeless community and is trying to help them and not just moving them off to the next area. They are a big partner. And Faith in Action do such wonderful work. Yeah. They do wonderful work all through the county, all through District 5. I just love the work that they're doing. And then Opportunity Village, housing is so important. It's such an important component. So we realize that the Homeless to Work program is going to help those who want to get out of their situation and who need that opportunity, who need an opportunity to get employment. The way this came about, I don't know how many of you go to conventions, but I used to go to conventions, and I remember my boss always telling me, if you can bring one good idea back with you, it was worth it. Boy. Oh, Oh, I think I'm too close to the other mic, yeah. Boy, did he bring something back. He went to a convention of mayors, and at that convention, the mayor of Albuquerque did a presentation on a program that he initiated in Albuquerque called Homeless to Work. Leaving that convention, Supervisor brought that back to Moreno Valley, along with 76 other cities that did the same thing. They replicated the program in their cities as well. I can't tell you what happened in the other 76, but I can tell you what the result was in Moreno Valley. There was, and this was according to the county count. This was not some statistic that the mayor went out and hired somebody to give him this statistic. It was the county normal count of the homeless. And what that reflected was that there was a 53% decrease in the homeless rate in Moreno Valley the first year of the program. During that same year, in the county of Riverside, the homeless rate had gone up 20%. This was at a time when the population was decreasing, okay? So 20% increase in the county, but 53% decrease in Moreno Valley. I want to show you a quick clip from ABC. They did a special on the program. Evan?
The Homeless to Work program is putting our homeless community to work, and we're providing jobs. And so we're having them beautify the city, whether it's planting flowers, maybe cleaning sites. It's been a very effective program that we started about 6 months ago.
We love the idea. Mayor Gutierrez had a vision that was created from a similar program. We invite individuals who are having a tough time finding employment because they've got some extra barriers.
It's hard to find a job if you don't have a job history and just numerous other things, but we give them references. We can help them find full-time gainful employment and find a room or an apartment to rent at the end of the 90-day program.
The best part of it all is that they put money in your pocket. It's not hard work. It gets you through the week.
They teach you a lot of skills just to get back on your feet. Make sure you're there on time, make sure you're doing the work correctly.
It's not just you working, it's not just you coming off the street, it's like a little team. That's what I like about the Homeless to Work program.
We go off, and the city has different spots, and we pick up the trash, do some light weeding, raking it up, pile the trash up in one location on that site, and then move on to a next one. And we do that for 5 hours each day, twice a week.
I think that a lot of people can benefit from it just because they do pay you, and when you're homeless, a lot of times you go through days where you don't eat.
When you hold the sign on the street sign, you kind of lose all integrity.
First of all, you have a lot of people staring at you, and they just judge you. It just disintegrates your soul a little bit. They don't understand that I'm just up there just for food.
It's not fun. It really does make you lose hope. It's like, I'm already standing up here. You don't need to yell from your car or spit at me.
I'd rather just say, forget this, I'd rather go get a job.
I never went hungry. They fed me every day, and they talked me into going get back on my medication. So I got back on my medications, and life just seems like it started getting better.
For those homeless people that are ready to get employment, to get off the streets, it's perfect. Any homeless person can become a homeowner if they just give themselves a chance in this program.
The best part of this program is finding yourself freedom. You wake up knowing that you have a purpose in life.
Your integrity, your pride, and gives you a sense that you need to get back on your feet.
It helps you with job skills, responsibility, being there on time.
I don't see me going back homeless. I don't see me going back to drugs. I'm happy. I wake up happy every morning that I'm with my son and my family.
I think the ultimate goal is that if we can provide the homeless community with a job and the services, then they will have the right opportunities and the right skill set to have the housing so that way we can reduce the homeless population.
Thank you. One of the things I'd like to point out is that while Supervisor Gutierrez was mayor of Moreno Valley, 44 people got off the streets, were housed, and had jobs, gainful employment. One was a nurse, and the partner was Kaiser Permanente, and she's now a nurse with Kaiser Permanente. We got the funding to do this program. All 5 of the programs that I showed you earlier have been funded and will be rolling out by the end of the year. The Homeless to Work program is one of them. Supervisor Gutierrez was able to get the support of his colleagues because this will be a pilot program for the entire county. So hopefully we'll have a really good effect here in District 5 and we can see it go county-wide. And with that, I just want to again thank Michelle and thank the administration here at Sun Lakes and my fellow presenters for being here today and all of you. I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you. Oh. Are there any questions? Well, good. Report that I answered all the questions, okay?
No one has any questions for David? Don't be shy. Okay, Virginia?
I'm Elizabeth Bennett. Where do the people live? You know, when you get them off the street, where are they living when they're doing
She wants to know where do they
the
live
work?
when they get off the streets.
Where do they live?
Hold the mic a little bit closer to you.
Oh, where do these people live who are taken off the street? Where are they living?
I don't know that part. Do you, Evan? No?
So right now with the Moreno Valley Homeless to Work program, we're in a partnership with Salvation Army. And so Salvation Army kind of handles a lot of that aspect of it, like the housing, the character development, making sure that they're following through with the other like rules of the program basically. Because like David said, it is a wraparound program. It's not just giving them a job and then making them leave. I believe there are aspects that they need to complete the program and be like certified in the program. But I know that Salvation Army handles a lot of that stuff with helping with like stipends for housing, stuff like that. Right now with the county's portion, we do have a contract out there that people are applying for to be the partner with the county, with District 5, with Supervisor Gutierrez. I know that Salvation Army has applied for that as well. We'll see who ends up getting that contract. So for the program for D5, that's still kind of in limbo of what that's going to look like. But I know that there are programs where they do help with stipends for housing and they do help them get off their feet and get through the program so that way they can start affording to have housing on their own and get a job on their own. Is there a Salvation Army here? Is that what you're asking? Oh, no. I don't. It's just like the local Southern California chapter of Salvation Army. So that's who's kind of helping, who's been helping out the city of Moreno Valley with their program and who I believe might end up helping out District 5 as well. But like I said, it's a program that they kind of go through. There's a lot of steps that they have to follow. And then they end up basically getting in a position where they can get long-term employment and long-term housing at the end of the program.
Thank you. Any other questions?
You just hold the microphone directly in front of your mouth so we can pick it up.
What type of follow-up do you have after you get them a job in a home placement? Do you continue in the program 6 months, a year?
Hello, testing, okay. This one's much quieter, so that's better. Yeah, it's along the same lines as the last question. That portion is all kind of handled by the nonprofit that partners with us. Now it's going a little bit louder. So yeah, the nonprofit that partners with us kind of handles that, the follow-up and things like that. But we do check in with the nonprofit because like it is, the county funds are sponsoring this, so we do want to follow up with the nonprofit to make sure that that money is going to being successful. You know, not just a point-in-time count, not just the homeless count every year where we go through and we make sure like, oh, look, we're doing great. No, we want to find out and get the actual stories from the people who are participating in the program and follow up. Like you saw the people that they're interviewing in that video. That's something that we're going to do in District 5 as well. So there is going to be follow-up and there is going to be more accountability with it. But just having the exact outline of it, I don't have right now. I just know that with everything like CID funds, any nonprofits that we give money to, we do have checks and balances where we go through and we see what they're spending their money on and make sure that it's going to what we agreed upon.
Thank you. Before we have any more questions, I need to get Mike Romero up here. I'm so sorry, Mike. He was supposed to be our first speaker, and I saw him leave, and I'm like, uh-oh. So Mike Romero is director of our Securitas, so you may also ask him questions, and he's going to have a little presentation here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for having me. As Michelle mentioned, my name is Mike. I'm your Director of Security here at Sun Lakes. The security report that I'm going to issue today provides an overview of the security measures and concerns specific to our HOA that caters to our residents. The purpose for this report is just to assess current security situation, identify potential vulnerabilities, and recommend any appropriate measures to ensure the safety and well-being of the community members. Currently, our perimeter is designed to keep unwanted visitors from entering the community, but that still doesn't prevent them from trespassing, folks. Banning continues to see a rise in theft occurrences, and as much as our hearts go out to the homelessness, we do see a rise in homeless around our area as well. We're working diligently with Banning PD to try to help these individuals out and get them to better places, as you mentioned here, sir. So we recommend that residents at this time just properly secure their homes and garages to avoid any potential theft occurrences. We have seen those in the rise lately here in the summer, so just make sure that you're securing your property and vehicles as best as possible. Should a resident observe any individuals jumping a wall, notice a vehicle that's following closely to them when entering the community through a gate, please contact us as soon as possible. These are measures that they're measures that we take to follow these piggybackers, as we call them, when they're entering the community. That could be potential solicitors or individuals that are just scouting the community to see which home is vacant. Even practicing or observing your patterns to see what time you're leaving your house, what time are you coming back. Do you have any neighbors that are looking out for your houses and stuff like that? So keep in mind, these situations will arise, so it's always good to have a little neighborhood watch around and get to know your neighbors. It's very important to get to know your neighbors. Contact us as soon as possible, though, if you do see something suspicious, and also call 911. You see something, say something, call 911 as soon as possible and follow up with a call to us, and we'll go out there and help them out as much as possible. We evaluate and monitor the conditions of our gates as much as possible as well. All these access points that are surrounding the community, we ensure that they are in good condition and functioning properly to assure the safety of your homes and your well-being as well. So if you guys notice any gates that are malfunctioning or pedestrian gates that are left unlocked or unsupervised, just let us know. We'll go out there, we'll take care of it right away for you folks. Lighting in the community and the adequacy of lighting in common areas, parking lots, and walkways is something that my team also monitors, and we try to ensure and try to provide sufficient visibility during the nighttime. And we report this over to administration, and they'll go ahead and get that taken care of for us. So that way the community is always lit up. You guys can enjoy the community in the nighttime, especially those common areas in the summertime. I do recommend that if you're gonna walk at night, you walk with a flashlight and have a cell phone accessible in case of an emergency. You can contact 911 right there on the spot. Also have security's number on your speed dial if possible. Call us. We'll come out there and help you out wherever you're at. Another thing that we've observed around the community lately, it's our vehicle entrances and exits. They're designed specifically for vehicles, folks. We recently observed some pedestrians using the vehicle entrances and exits as pedestrian walkways. This is a huge safety concern, as it could potentially lead to somebody getting hit by a vehicle or worse. We ask that residents carry their pedestrian gate key at all times, and please use the pedestrian gates to access the community safely. I also want to bring up community engagement at this time. It's important that residents get to know their neighbors and district delegates, as mentioned earlier. It's more so that you can be in the know of what's happening around your district. We work alongside your district delegates, and we assess the neighborhood watch programs as much as we can. If we don't hear from you folks, we don't know what's going on in the community. If your district delegates aren't there to support you and your community, we need to find ways that we can reach out to you as individuals as well. So whatever you can do, try to get involved with your district delegates as much as possible. They'll find ways to have meetings with our department, and we'll find ideas of what we can do to help support your districts in better securing those areas as well. I'm sure if some of you folks have noticed myself and Lieutenant Roman out on the field, we are doing traffic observation. It has been taking place here at Sun Lakes. We're conducting it all over the community. The purpose for this is just to gather data on vehicles that are frequently violating stop signs or busy intersections. We want to make sure that everybody is safe. Complying with the speed limits, complying with any stop signs. We don't want to have any potential injuries or fatalities taking place here at Sun Lake. So please make sure that you're careful out there. Stop at a stop sign, watch your speed limit. Your guests are also need to be aware. So make sure that you talk to your guests when they visit Sun Lakes that there are regulations when you guys come and visit us, okay? Lastly, just a simple reminder to residents, please call 911 in the event of an emergency, follow up with security, and we'll be more than happy to go out there and assist you folks. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Yes. Appreciate it.
In your subject of monitoring, what type of monitoring do you do at night here at the golf courses?
We have patrol monitoring our community. We do frequent our clubhouses, any areas that are surrounded, specifically homes that have the golf courses near their areas in their backyards. We do monitor those areas frequently at nighttime. We do have a CCTV system in our station which monitors all points of entries and exits. Those are always being monitored. We don't have cameras all over the community, as you're aware, but we are monitoring very important areas. So if you do see somebody, like I mentioned earlier, jump in a wall, let us know. Maybe our cameras aren't catching those individuals, and we need to know what's going on so that we can respond accordingly.
So as far as monitoring the golf courses, I live off of Brooklawn. And do you go back, do they go back there with their vehicles?
No, ma'am, we do not go back to those areas. Our vehicles aren't designed to be on golf courses, but we do try our best to foot patrol that area as much as possible.
At night?
At nighttime, yeah. It's rare though, because we have a lot of calls that are coming in at nighttime, and we're trying to have our patrol officer respond to those calls accordingly, but there are times that they're tied up on other calls, and you might be waiting for a little bit longer than expected. Hence me advising, call 911 if you do see somebody suspicious. They have better chances of coming out and responding accordingly, and maybe in a more prompt manner than we can.
So is there enough personnel at night to take care of those type of things?
We have the adequate personnel to accommodate what Sun Lake's needs at this time. You can also bring your concerns up with your board, your master board, or your district delegates to see if there's a way maybe you can bring those concerns up with them as well.
All right. Thank you for your answer.
You're quite welcome.
Hello, Mike.
Yes.
Hi. First of all, I want to thank you so much. You've taken care of 2 incidents and
You're
one this
welcome.
morning, but yes, I think it's good that the community gets involved with yourself and your employees as well when it comes to identification. Where are they? What are they wearing? And whatever information they can give you. But thank you for today and the other day as
Absolutely, it was
well.
my pleasure. We had an incident this morning. She was out on the field and she did call us, and I actually was the one to respond. I tried to get as much as involvement in the field with my guys out there. So it's not just my officers and me delegating to them. I'm getting involved as much as I can. You will see me out on the field, here at the clubhouses, whether it be on the streets. I will respond, and I will follow up with every single resident here to make sure that we're doing our job and doing our due diligence accordingly.
Just recently, we had someone at the golf course in the back between myself and several other neighbors with someone walking back there with a flashlight. I know just recently, last week, I did call the gate because some guy went on the golf course with his lights on. This was like about 8:30, and he just surprised me and he drove so fast. Yeah. So I tell my neighbors, be on the lookout for this. Somebody that shouldn't be there and you're afraid, call the police department first, and then call Securitas.
Absolutely, and we will respond. Like I said, we have no problem coming to your residence. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. This is just a curious question. I'm curious. You mentioned that you are very busy at night with calls all over. Could you give us, because it seems like paradise or a cemetery or something, there is nobody in the street. So what kind of calls do you get?
So we do get calls
a sample of calls.
At nighttime, most of the calls that we get in are just suspicious individuals walking either outside of the perimeter, not necessarily inside the community. It could be somebody that just doesn't look like they belong in the community, and we get calls and we'll go out and assess the situation to determine if they are residents or if they're just in need of help. We can make a judgment right away. So we'll go out there, we'll do all our investigation, and then determine whether we need to call 911 or if it's something that we can resolve ourselves right there on the scene. But suspicious activity is one of our main calls that we do get in the middle of the night.
So in those suspicious activities, do you actually often find that they're up to no good?
No, there is a misconception sometimes where it might be a caregiver that is on foot and doesn't have a vehicle, and they're just leaving the property because they just got done with their shift, but they still look like a homeless because they're carrying a bag, or they just look like a backpack full of clothes. We've responded to those calls. Like I said, we won't make judgment on anybody. We'll analyze the situation, ask our questions, and determine whether that person did belong in the community or not. But it's a mix. It's a 50-50 mix of what we respond to. We can't assume that every single person we see out on the street is a suspicious individual. However, I will go out there, my team will go out there, and we will address every single call, whether it be a suspicious call or not. Any more questions? Perfect. Thank you, folks. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. Officer Hickson, do you want to come up here, or do you can do with? Perfect. Officer Hickson is our homeless liaison.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Officer Hickson. She said I'm the homeless liaison for the Banning Police Department. Currently, I'm still the only one, the homeless liaison at the police department, so I stay busy. I do what I can. So just this year, myself, I've had over 140, nearly 150 arrests just dealing with the homeless. That's usually around the center of Bannings, where we get most of our calls for service. We do come out here, especially around Howling Springs, because there's a lot of homeless here that come from Banning and also come from Beaumont, and they'll come here and do their begging for money or whatever. Recently, we've been working with Jeff and Faith in Action. Jeff is running the Opportunity Village, and he'll tell you more about that for more of our outreach. So when I first started, it was more enforcement. The department wanted enforcement only, so I was arresting people for trespassing and illegal camping. But it's a very temporary solution, and it doesn't help people get off the streets. If anything, it causes people more problems. So recently, with the help of Jeff, Faith in Action, and some other social services, I'm able to incorporate outreach with my enforcement, and we've helped remove several people from the street. Jeff's helped them get into permanent housing. We have volunteers from people who were homeless who are now at Opportunity Village. And we've set up cleanups. We do it every week. Jeff and I and some other volunteers go out and we clean up homeless camps that have been tagged. We let them know, hey, you're illegal camping, we're coming to take your stuff. If you don't leave, and you could be arrested. But when we do that, we also offer them the services that we have at Opportunity Village and that Faith in Action offers. So we've helped many people, and then who turn around and come back and help us, and will volunteer to come clean up the camps, especially along. So we make it a point to come here along the north side of the wall, along the tracks, because so many people, they bury down in there, and they know that we don't come over here that often. So they can kind of come over here, hide away until the nighttime, and then they come out. And I think that's probably when Mike is seeing a lot more of the thefts and stuff at night. So to counter that too, we have 2 mandatory patrols during the day, where we send at least 1 patrol officer here to do extra patrols in the city. One's at 7 in the morning, the other one's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They do the same thing at the same hours at night. So we also have extra patrols from the city here inside the development for you guys to keep some of those people out and try to help with some of those thefts and stuff. I've also been working with Caltrans and the Railroad Police Department, who helped me keep the homeless off of the side of the freeways and off of the railroad tracks. Sometimes it's just moving them out. They find somewhere else to go for a few days and they come back. But during that, we have the chance to offer them the services, or I have the chance for enforcement. So there's 2 ways we can help get them out of here. Either you can go with me, or you can go seek some services. And that tends to give them a little more motivation to either find somewhere else to go, or actually take some of the services that we offer. I believe that's all I got. I've been working with Beaumont PD also, and their homeless liaison officer. Because for a while, we were sending people back and forth across Highland Springs. You know, go that way, go to Beaumont. Beaumont would send them back. So with the way Jeff has been running Opportunity Village, we do have beds there. We have services available for people. So Beaumont PD will even call and ask if we have some resources for people who want help. And of course we do. If it'll help the surrounding area, not just Banning, but we all live in Banning, Beaumont. I live here in Beaumont, so anything we can do to help the problem in the area, we're willing to do it. The ladies and the guys at Faith in Action work really hard. Jeff is dedicated, and I'm seeing a big change in the homeless. They're starting to accept it because they know that they could actually go somewhere. Some people don't accept it. That's the way they are. Either it's the drugs or the mental health or a combination. It's very difficult sometimes to get people to help. And even when you do, that's when the wraparound services are really important, because a lot of these people, they've never paid bills, you know, so they get a job, they go to work, but they don't know how to log in to make their mortgage or their rent, or, you know, pay their electricity bill. So it takes a lot of people and a lot of resources. But the city of Banning and the police department are really starting to come together and offer a lot of resources to try to help get them off of the streets. Okay, I believe that's it. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, ma'am. I guess you can use mine.
I think we have people working shift work underneath the freeway. There's a guy there for 2 hours, he leaves, another group comes back for 2 hours, and they're all day long, every day of the week. And nothing seems to be done about these guys. That's all I have to say, but
Yes, sir.
it's shift work down there.
I understand. Semper Fi, by the way. And I understand, so those guys, I've been there and I've arrested all those guys. I know them by name. They know me by name. When I pull up, they usually scurry away. But here's what I have to fix it enforcement-wise, because of where we are with law enforcement. I pull up, they're begging for money. There is a law saying that they can't do that. I can arrest them. I take their money as evidence to deter them from coming back and doing it, but they get a ticket. So even if I can book them, and I always make it as inconvenient as possible, So if I book them at the county jail, they're out in 6 hours. And on Highland Springs, those people can make whatever they lost back in an hour or two. So, oh yeah. I mean, and if you go down there, and you can sit on top of the bridge and watch them, and I've done it, the amount of people who actually give them money is pretty staggering. And that's why they keep coming back. So, I don't know, tell your family, tell your friends, if they're coming in, don't give money to the homeless, because they won't go away.
Hi. I don't know if it's from you exactly, but it's a police question. Reese, I'm going to sit down, okay?
Yes,
you see
ma'am.
me. Recently, I was coming into Albertson, and the person came out from the other side and nearly made me fall down. He was having a cart that was full of grocery, and while he was leaving, there were a lot of grocery even on the floor, so meaning that on the ground, meaning that it had been in the store for a long time. And after I was able to talk to the manager and ask what was going on, they said, well, we can't do anything. And it's kind of odd in a way. And they told me they have camera everywhere except in the frozen section. But it seems like we are telling them it's okay.
Right.
So is there any possible other way? And he ran, and of course I didn't run after him, but I was wondering what to do.
What's your question?
Well, my question is there a rule of the way the person at the Albertson, after I found the right one, said, well, we can't do anything. And I guess it makes sense because they're afraid that there's going to be trouble in the store.
Right.
But we cannot let them know that it's just easy, because if they had their cart so full, they've been in the store for a while, and it seems to me that they would have somebody, especially if they have those cameras, somebody should have been there and say, oh, look what this guy's doing.
Right.
And he was not hiding, he was running.
Right.
So anyway, I don't know if you have an answer for me or not.
Yeah,
but
of course I do, yeah. So a lot of the thefts and stuff that you see from the big businesses like Walgreens or Rite Aid's a good example. Just recently, Rite Aid was having a lot of thefts from the same person over and over. And one of the guys who works at Rite Aid confronted the people when they were leaving. Well, because he did that, Rite Aid fired them when he was assistant manager there. So been there for a long time, but he confronted these people who actually assaulted the Rite Aid employee. So, and not only was he beat up for trying to do the right thing, he also got fired by Rite Aid. So all that tells their employees is don't involve the police and don't get involved. If they steal it, the employees think it's not my money anyway, so who cares? But then it leads to that mentality is nothing's going to happen to me. So they go in, they take what they want, and they're back out, and they're comfortable with it. 9 times out of 10, they don't even call us. Rite Aid, the manager there, I had to go talk to him and told him that there's no way for me to know that you're having problems if you don't call the police. I can't sit in Walgreens and watch everyone that comes in and out. So, and it's same for everyone here. If you see a problem, we may not know about it. Call. You're not bothering us. It's our job. It's what we're supposed to do, especially if it's homeless. I'm asking you personally, please call. Because if I don't know they're here, and I don't know there's other people that's moved in, because I know a lot of the homeless in the area, call. Let us know so we can go out and we can deal with them. And make sure, at the very least, make sure they're not dangerous if they're going to be here. It's not illegal to be homeless, so I can't enforce anything. If the guy wants to stand on the street and be homeless, I can't stop him from that. But we do have other tools and other resources to try to help them or enforce some things to make them maybe pick another place to stay. So please call and let us know so I can go and do my job.
Before you ask any questions, please make sure they pertain to the homeless. This is what this whole panel is about. It's not about Rite Aid or Albertsons or anything like that. It is about the homeless, and this is what our panel is trying to talk to you about, is the homeless. So please make sure that your questions are addressed just for the homeless, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. But I'll share one more story with you. So 2 weeks ago, Jeff and I and some other of the volunteers, we were cleaning up along the tracks, and we went from Malky all the way in Cabazon to 22nd Street. And we cleaned up, I believe it was 12 dump truck loads of trash from along the ravines and the tracks. We contacted 12 different people. Out of those 12 people, 2 accepted services. So the way that they're working hard at Opportunity Village, one of them had a bed that day, and then Jeff has it set up so that just a few days later they're in detox and they've already started their journey to being a better person. So that's what we do. We do that almost weekly. So go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, a couple days ago, I happened to be going down Highland Springs underneath the underpass.
Yes, ma'am.
And in the middle, it looked like it was a young man just sitting there, you know, with a real cute little dog. Now, he wasn't asking for money, he wasn't doing anything, but it was the same person I saw 2 days in a row. In that circumstance, should we be calling you to see if this person needs help? Like I said, he was just sitting there petting the little dog.
So in that incident, there's no crime. There is no crime, but I would like to know that they're there. So, and also I do this every month. I pull stats and I see who's calling us the most, and that helps me direct our resources to the biggest problems. And then we'll fix that one, then we'll go to the next. So if no one calls me about the problems around Highland Springs and the tracks, you know, and I look at all the calls I have from the businesses on Ramsey and 8th and 22nd, those people call all the time, so that's where we focus a lot of our attention. But a lot of people don't call around Highland Springs because they're just driving out to get on the freeway and then they're gone. So if you see people and they're homeless, and just call and say, hey, this guy's homeless, I think he needs some help, and we'll go out and talk to him.
Yes, I'd like to know what the boundaries are on the medium and Highland Springs. So if you see some homeless people asking for money on the medium, who do you call, Banning or Beaumont?
Yeah, so the center divider divides the Highland Springs. So if you're going northbound on Highland Springs, then that's Banning. If you're going on southbound lanes of Highland Springs, it's Beaumont. Well, that's also a thing too, because people will call Beaumont, they'll call Beaumont PD and Beaumont and send them across the street. Now it's our problem, so. Yes, ma'am.
Is that a 911 call? We just call 911?
If it's not an emergency, no, you call the non-emergency number.
Okay.
Oh, let me give it to you. And then I'll give you my name also, and if it's homeless, you can reference me directly. And if I'm not at work, because I work 4/10, so I work Tuesday to Friday. So during the weekend and at night, dispatch will take the calls and they'll email them to me so that I can follow up with them later. So the phone number for the non-emergency is 951-922-3170. And then my name is Officer Hickson. It's spelled Hixson.
You want to repeat the number one more time, please?
Yes. The phone number is 951-922-3170. And my name's Hickson, Hixson. And it may be a little bit before we get out there, but as long as I have the call and it's documented on the board, is what we call it, I will come and I will find them and we'll do what we need to do with them. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Officer Hickson.
I'm going to
What's
use
wrong with
this
these
one.
mics?
That one beeps too much. Hello, everybody. My name is Jeffrey Platt. Thank you for having us all here today. I am the coordinator director for Opportunity Village for the city of Banning. I've been there going on 5 months. We're taking a different approach now. I've been working in the recovery industry and homeless industry for over 35 years. We are in conjunction with Faith in Action. We have a process set up. Let me stick this in there. We have a process set up where once someone has decided that they want help, or it's somebody that we've approached in the city that's homeless, then of course they're sent to Faith in Action, where their processing begins, where we find out exactly what their specific needs are. That would start with simple things like a driver's license, social security card, hooking them up with social services to find out exactly what services they qualify for, getting them insurance, determining whether they have mental health issues, drug problems, or both, which is what we call dual diagnosis. I have a full staff at Opportunity Village now. All of us have been in the social services industry for a long time. We're taking a little bit different approach now. I don't know if you've driven through town lately, but with working with Officer Hickson and the Banning Police Department, the downtown corridor of Banning, all the way from Highland Springs, all the way down to, I think that is Hardgrave, is a lot cleaner now. A lot less tents, a lot less homeless people hanging out. I kind of want to explain the difference. You have homelessness and you have transients. Everybody needs to understand what the difference is between the two. Transients are usually the people that are here for a short amount of time, that take things that don't belong to them, destruct things, tear things apart, and make our lives a little uncomfortable. The true homeless people are people that have been separated from family members, people that have lost their houses to fires, people that have lost family members and kind of given up on life themselves. So we try to address every one of those issues as they come up. We've spent the last 2.5 months cleaning up from Highland Springs all the way down to Hargrave. When I say this, we've taken over 600 yards of trash out of this city. And it's more than you could imagine. It's probably 5 rooms like this filled from floor to ceiling. About a month and a half ago, we put a program together, which I'm sure some of you see on Facebook. We have 2 community volunteers, Al Chavez and Chris, that go around a couple days a week collecting shopping carts. Right now in the city yard, we have about 250 shopping carts that were on the streets, which is also a crime in the city of Banning. So what we do when we're collecting these shopping carts is we carry bags with us. We give the homeless person a set of bags, help them transfer their stuff from the shopping cart. Shopping cart's then loaded up, taken to the city dump. After we get a certain number of them collected, there's an ordinance in the city. We return those carts to the stores. They pay a fee of $15 per cart. That goes back into the general fund and helps us continue on with our cleanup process. That process has been going on for about 2 months now and is working out quite well in the community. To address a couple of the prior issues that were brought up, people on the streets, panhandling, the best thing that you can do is not give them any money. We're going to be starting a new program in the city here soon. It's with a QR code. You'll see QR codes all along the city streets where you can scan it with your phone. It will give you the opportunity to donate some money to that QR code, which will help with homelessness. How do we want to help homeless people? We want to make sure they have water, we want to make sure they have food, and we want to make sure that the community is safer for you and for them. So it's not always easy dealing with them because a lot of times we're dealing with people with dual diagnosis issues, which means they have mental health issues and they're using street drugs. The mental health issue part is they're on a psychotropic drug and they're mixing that with a street drug. That makes out for a very volatile cocktail at times. So, you know, I always suggest that people, you see a homeless person, it's nice to smile at them. You may not really want to engage with them because you really don't, if you don't know how to read that person, you don't know what's going to happen, what could possibly happen. So we're setting up a bunch of different services in the city to deal with this situation. Opportunity Village, in conjunction with Faith in Action, has become very successful at this point. We're not just housing homeless people there. That's not what we're doing. We bring them into the village, we figure out with an assessment what their needs are. We've been very successful to date with putting people into drug treatment programs, getting people jobs, finding people housing, doing this the right way. There's a big misconception that we can just load somebody up in a car and take them out of town and drop them off somewhere else. We really don't like doing that, even though we get a lot of drop-offs in Banning. And at times, the favor's absolutely returned. One good turn deserves another, but that's really not the solution to the problem. The solution to the problem is bring this person in, find out what their needs are, and start working towards a goal to help that person not become homeless anymore. So we're extremely successful right now, moving forward with the program. We are actually being looked at by a lot of other agencies because of the way we've set this program up now, and it's actually working, and it's becoming a model program for other cities. We're very happy about that. Got off to a little rocky start a couple years ago. There was a fire. We had another fire recently. Wasn't, necessary, malicious, but it's just things that happen. It's all about management. Homeless problem is all about management. And if it's managed properly and dealt with properly, you start to see less and less and less of it. So as you're driving up and down the streets in Banning, I know that you can see a difference. I know that you can see a difference off the freeways. We're up here at Highland Springs on the railroad tracks, up on the corners every Friday. We switch it up on them because they get used to us. So now we've switched it up on them. They never know when we're coming. And it's not an easy job. It's a thankless job, but we're actually getting somewhere in this city and this community. And we're proud of that. And we're proud that we have a partnership with Faith in Action that works out real well. That's where it all starts. Then it transfers over to us at the village, and then that's when we take over. And I have a dedicated staff that is good at what they do. We're good at assessing what someone's real problems are. Bottom line is, if you want help, you have to want the help. I can't force anybody to want help, but the ones that do want help, sometimes it takes a little longer with some of the other ones. We keep them around for a while, one-on-one conversations, take them around, show them that life can be different for them. Eventually, they kind of give into their own things that they don't want to do and end up in the right place. It's not an easy job, but we're definitely getting somewhere in the city of Banning. Any questions?
Yes, I have one.
Thank you.
I keep hearing on the news, two questions, that a large percentage, a very large percentage, I've heard it as high as 75% of the homeless don't want anything to do with you folks. They like their freedom. So my question is that true? And if you do have that large amount of people who don't want anything to do, they like their freedom, what do you do with them?
It's not 75%.
That's what they keep saying, that we're 65.
I think it depends on where they're doing their survey and study and exactly how they're running their program. The point of getting somebody homeless off the street just isn't to give them a place to live and then kick them out in 3 or 4 months. That's not the point. That doesn't work. Sometimes this can take somebody, I'm a year and a half guy. You got to give somebody an opportunity. They didn't get that way overnight. They're not going to get fixed the next day. It just doesn't work that way. So what do you do with somebody that doesn't want help? Well, you stay on them until they get tired of you staying on them, and then they want help. It's a long process. For some people, it's quick. Some people are like, okay, boom. Like Officer Hickson was telling you, we were out a couple weeks ago. We met 12 people. 2 people took help immediately. The other ones, they don't want help. So we just have to keep going at it and going at it and going at it. And the truth of the matter is that eventually people get sick and tired of being sick and tired. They see me, they see him, they just like, oh God, here they come. And that's what we want. Yep, here we come. We're coming here to help you, whether you want it or not, and eventually you're going to get our message because we're not really going to accept the message that you're trying to give all of us. And so it's a struggle. It's a push, but it's about commitment and determination and not stopping. We in Banning have decided, the city spent a lot of money, almost $1 million. I'm glad to announce today we just got another grant from the government for another $1 million. We are going to be putting up a block wall along the freeway so that you can no longer see the unit from the freeway. It wasn't just to get the visual out. My office is over there. Oh my God. I can't think straight because that noise from the freeway, I have to have the door closed, put stuff in front under the door so that I can't hear all the, I can only imagine how they even sleep at night with all that noise. So currently right now we have about 30, I think right at 30 people in the program. Faith in Action started a new program about 6 weeks ago. It's a life skills class, which they definitely need a life skills class because when not brushing your teeth and combing your hair and taking a shower becomes what you don't do every day in your life, it's easy to forget how to do it. Also, along with they're learning some coping skills, they're getting a lot of great information from people that are, some of the people from this community, I believe, come and speak at their 101 class. And the ones that are participating are having a good time. They're getting a grip on it, and we're moving forward. They've been successful in getting a couple people jobs already. They're working on getting some more people some jobs. They're also waiting for housing for some of the people. So we're giving them a proper path. We're taking a proactive stance on homelessness and transients, and we're moving them forward, and we're going to continue to do that. When we say it's a group effort, a consortium, it involves all of you too. And how can you help us? You can help us by not giving them money. I get it. You know, some of us, I'm one of these people, my human nature doesn't really allow me to not help someone. But sometimes that person that you think you're helping, you're really not. We have services in town, in community, where they can be fed. We feed them. We house them. We get them insurance. We get them set up faster than what somebody in your household could probably be set up faster in service-wise, okay? Because it's an immediate need, and we're able to push that with the county. The county of Riverside, the supervisor's district, very helpful to us. When I call for county services, I don't have to wait 2 days, 10 days, 5 days. Everybody that I work with in the county, I have a personal relationship. They come that day or the next day, and within a couple days, we're able to send somebody to treatment, to detox, and move that person to the next step. Any more questions? Yes, sir. Let me hold on for a second.
I ask what your phone number is
Let me
and
get
your
my
last
phone
name.
because I never call myself and I don't have that. And of course, I don't have my glasses, but that's all right. It's okay. So my number is 951-970-4959, and my last name is spelled P as in Paul, L as in Lincoln, A as in Adam, T as in Tom, T.
Would you say it one more time, please?
951-970-4959.
So I'm a veteran, and did you know that the VA has no vet homeless or without a home?
Well, sir, I'm a veteran as well, and so is Officer Hickson, and we do know about that program. But I got to tell you something. We rarely ever run into a veteran that needs help. I have personally, since I've been doing this in Banning, I have not ran into one veteran in this city that is homeless and has needed help.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. When you talk about taking the people that need help for detox, is there particular places or just one place that they go for the detox?
So after an initial assessment with someone, there are different detoxes, and there are clearly a lot of different programs, and this is what I've specialized in for the last 35 years, working for behavioral health services, private treatment centers. Not every treatment center is necessarily good for a particular person. So years ago, it used to be alcoholics and drug addicts. And an alcoholic would look at a drug addict and say, what's wrong with him? And then vice versa. What's his problem? So it wasn't until about the 90s that they started bringing these two groups of people together, because the common cause is, to be honest with you, drug addiction is one thing, but the true problem isn't drugs. The true problem is behavior problems. And the drugs just enhance the issues that they're having. So you can take somebody that's a drug addict, you can take them away from drugs for a year, and you can sit there and one of their rages ask them, what's your problem? And you can tell them, they'll tell you, I'm a drug addict. And you can tell that same person, well, you haven't had drugs for a year. So do you have a drug problem or do you have a behavior problem? And it's those kind of things that click there. So we kind of try to work with the county. Sometimes that part's not so easy because it's when a bed becomes available, you want the opportunity to put that person to bed. But we prefer to send people places where their direct needs are going to be met. So there's 5 or 6 different places that I personally choose to send people. There's a detox in Menifee, the ABC Club out in Indio, which is a great full wraparound program. I love to send people to the ABC Club. I've had a relationship with them for over 40 years. They will take someone to detox, from detox to residential treatment, from residential treatment to housing, from housing to work, from housing to work to sober living. Now their life is established again. That whole process takes anywhere from a year to 18 months. And so I tend to like to send people to a full spectrum program, because just sending somebody to detox for a week, it's a revolving door. Problem with detox today is this. You take somebody, we talk about fentanyl for a second. If we send somebody that's on fentanyl to detox, it takes about 7 to 8 days, 9 days to get them detoxed from that. Once they get out of that detox, the first week of them becoming out of detox is a life or death situation for them. Because if they use fentanyl one time after being cleaned up, the smallest amount, there's a 90% chance that they're going to die from that. So when somebody has an addiction like that, we want to make sure that we get that person in a position to where they're not just going to a detox, that they'll continue on to residential treatment, because the longer they're away from it, the safer their life is going to be. So I always try to get people to go to full spectrum. A lot of times they don't want to do that. It's not that they don't have anything to come back out here and do, but one thing. They want to get to feel better for a week, and then they want to come back out and start again. So
I see a lot of them with dogs. What do you do about the dogs?
So Opportunity Village used to accept pets. And the original thought was, this was before I got there, as in a companion, you know. Unfortunately, a dog or a cat or dogs hinder somebody from being able to move forward with their lives. So there's agencies out there. Faith in Action has, I believe, a couple agencies, if I remember correctly, that will take someone's dog while they go to detox or getting help. And so we always will try and help somebody by getting their dog placed. So, I mean, I've even heard people that work for Faith in Action volunteer to take people's dogs home while they get help. I mean, nobody's really trying to, we just picked up, 2 dogs? We broke up a homeless encampment the other day. Adult dog ran off and left 2 little puppies. So, you know, we took the puppies and we took them out to ARE, where they were gladly received, and they'll be taken care of and dealt with accordingly. We try not to, you can't really, you're not going to take somebody's dog from them, but the dog really, or the animal, becomes a hindrance to their recovery. It becomes a hindrance to them moving forward in all kinds of spectrums. It's hard to get somebody with an animal into a house. You got to remember, these people have had no renting credit, they have no credit or bad credit. Now they have an animal, and most landlords don't want to deal with that. So we're kind of, at Opportunity Village, we have 2 dogs left there, I think. And I don't think those dogs are going to be going anywhere anytime soon, because actually one of the residents that has the dogs is actually become a very supportive volunteer at the city and Opportunity Village. So that's pretty much where we're at with the animal thing.
In dealing with the homeless, do you ever get in contact with their families?
So that's a great question. So we have a core group of homeless people. This is something everybody here needs to hear. I think it's about 26 people that are Banning residents. They're from Banning, born and raised in Banning, lived in Banning their whole lives. They are not in good standing with their families because of their behaviors, their drug addictions, and some of their anger issues. So they're not welcomed at home. They, under no circumstances, do they want to leave the city of Banning. And so that seems to be the hardest core group of people that we're working with. They are literally born, raised here, and went to school here, or I think from group homes here, right? A few of them are from group homes. And so that's the hardest group for us to deal with. That's our biggest, to be honest with you, that's our biggest struggle right now in the city of Banning, is the core group of people that are homeless that literally are from the city of Banning. Parents, family members living there. But the best thing, those parents and family, this is about, everybody hears this term a lot, tough love. You cannot continue to support a family member that's out there trying to kill himself. And the best thing that you can do is cut that person off until they hit what we call as a bottom. And eventually they do. And we've been actually successful in reuniting 2 people with their families. We have one client who, I believe 4 months ago, was sent to detox and residential treatment. She went through the whole program. She's back at home with her family, back at home with her kids. She's doing absolutely great. And so we're able at one point to be able to reunite people with their families, but that's a whole nother, we get this done, then that takes all kinds of other counseling to reunite the people back to their families. And so that's another expectation that we like to have and a goal, but that's just a lot longer process.
Any more questions? Going once, going twice?
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Lucy, you're up. This is Lucy Martin from Faith in Action.
Yay, Lucy.
Hi, thank you, everybody. Can you hear me? Whose phone? No? Oh. Okay, thank you for inviting me and Michelle. Okay, better? Yeah. Thank you. Up, down. I'm short. Oh, right there. Okay. Thank you, Concern Sun Lakes. So let me tell you a little bit of Faith in Action. It's already been brought up. We are a nonprofit agency, organization. We're grassroots, but I do want to concentrate that we are Faith in Action of San Gregorio Pass. And that I take a lot of pride in because it's not just Banning, it's all the surrounding cities. And just like Banning itself with Beaumont, Cabazon, it's a community coming together to be there for somebody. So what we're dedicated to do is wraparound services. We are talking today of the unhoused, but we do at-risk of homelessness. We do seniors, we do vulnerable people. We have assisted veterans and anybody with immigration status also. So what I take pride also is we are an organization made up of several navigators. They're here present. Volunteers also, got our board also here present. So we are very dedicated into this and assisting the community. And it will take all of us to be able to provide services, direct services. And what also that we do is we are always learning what's out there, what's the new programs. We have constant training every Monday. We just had a NARCAM with Reach Out, and Jurupa Valley that also has a one-shop community. So we're always networking. We're transparent at our services. And we're not like, oh, this is the only services that we provide. We have MOUs, memos of understanding with other agencies. Like we will do one specialty, one service, and if we know another agency that's their main service they provide, we link up with them. And together, we sit at a table and we provide the services. Opportunity Village provides that 90-day transitional housing. If we could get them in a stable home, a stable location, then we start working with adult protection services. And it looks and sounds bad when we call them, but we do, we sit with them and we let them know there's not just for abuse and neglect. They have other resources and you're not alone. They're not gonna take you. You can meet in our office and they have housing. They have other mental health, transportation. What we don't have, they're able to provide. They do room and board just to get them started. They could pay your first month, and then we start teaching them how to start budgeting, how to be independent, empowering them. The ones that want help, they start learning. And I have success stories. There's been some that have gone through our doors, and just the basic thing, they never were asked before. They were so excited to get housing. Right, they got housing on their own, but they're like, Lucy, what is a rental insurance? How do I get that? What is that? And so we sit with them, we tell them, here's our phone, call them, and they're asking me my address. She goes, I don't know it, it's so new to me. We tell them, we explain it, they ask square footage, all these other stuff that we take it for granted, it's so new for them. It's like opening a gift. Christmas. They go and do that. They call us back. Lucy, I don't have enough for cleaning my house. I don't have soap. I don't have a mop and stuff. Because they have the rent covered. Basic stuff, they don't. That's when we are like their safety net. We empower them to reach out. Get the help. It's okay. Everybody needs help. Some of these people, like they said, are from a group home. They have no family. They don't know what it is to be able to call somebody, not be judged, not be looked down on because they think it's a dumb question. But they have us, and I'm so proud with our organization, our navigators. They're all like their specialties. They need their stuff. Let me say some of the stuff they need. LIHEAP, utility assistance. We all know the gas prices went up on everybody, so you don't need to be just unhoused. These people were at risk of being homeless, but they were able to get assistance with utilities. They were able to pay their rent and got assistance with the utilities and remain in their home. They needed CalFresh. They needed Medi-Cal. They had, one of the things they had, unforeseen medical bills that affected their rent. So they had to decide, do I pay my rent or do I pay these bills? Because then it's going to go on my credit report. Then it's going to affect me. If I get kicked out, I won't have good credit. Medical bills are a big one to give you a bad credit score. We're able to help them to get a financial hardship, reduce those, or get them forgiven. These are stuff that we're learning and we're able to pass it through. We're always at our office, 66 San Gregorio Avenue. Number 6, now we're number 5. And they can always come to our door. We always have our door locked. It's a safety thing. So I hear you with the concern. We're the same way. So we do some measures to address those. And they could come to our office. They can leave voicemails. We'll get back to them. We have Spanish speaking, we have English speaking. So we have males, we got females, we got young people, we got older people. We have everything. So each navigator has a participant, or the participant has a navigator, either way. And who they want to speak with, we're okay, we don't take offended. They bump heads one time, they have every right, we put another navigator. I'm like, okay, you didn't feel that answer, wasn't what you wanted, let me put you with somebody else. So we're always changing, we're always addressing their barriers, we're trying to figure out together. We had one successful story. There was this lady, she was homeless, and all she needed is just to get her life scan so she could get her nursing degree, her certificate back on. We're able to provide that. We were able to give her a free life scan. She just had to pay the rolling fees with the Banning Police Department and work with her family to give her some time, and she was able to get back her employment and go back. And she now returns, checks in. We have community resource events where we're trying to join Banning, Beaumont, Cabazon. So our last event was at Beaumont, right across the street from Center of Spiritual Healing. They hosted us. We work with churches. We work with school districts. They hosted us. We were able to do it. Half of it was in front of the church. The other half was at the park. Carol's Kitchen provided free meals, and all our services are completely free. There's no charge whatsoever. And at those events, we usually have Community Action Partnership, Riverside County, that provides mediation, utility assistance, VITA, income taxes. I can't remember the other ones, but those are the main ones that get used all the time. We have TODEC, free immigration legal services, and they have a pro bono immigration attorney that will speak with them too. We have DAP that provides health services for AIDS. Provide them the test kits at home and medication. We also have, can somebody help me? Well, we always are having different events. We also partner up with Riverside University Health System, Public Health. We've had COVID vaccine clinics at our office. We also have done events just to give the kids their Nicolette, their vaccines, so they could go back to school. Because if you call now to get to school, it's a long time. So we find out with the community that we work with what their needs are, and we try to get them at our facility or events. Going back to also the homeless community, is we have a navigator that she goes out and meets with employers, and she presents the AB 150, where they will get, employers will get the credit for hiring a homeless individual. And we have also partnered up with HELP that has provided clothing for their interviews. And along with that, we have, like Jeff has said, our Life Skills 101 program. It's being directed by Carol Alba. And we have different agencies coming every week that would meet our participants are sitting there with them. They're getting to meet them. They're getting to interact with other agencies. And we've had other agencies that they called their attention, like, oh, when this person finishes, let me know. I have a position for them. So they're getting that exposure. They're showing their character. They're there on time. They're asking the right questions. They're professional, and that's what they're seeing it on there. So that's very important. I can say we have a large success, and I want to say it's because of our team. Our navigators, our board members are very hands-on, and our volunteers. So if we always have volunteers. Mary Ann Rickenet is our person in charge of how you could volunteer and be part of this organization. Yeah. And, yeah. Any questions?
Last chance, folks. There's one right there. Well, that's one of your volunteers.
Do you have a thrift shop that supports you?
volunteer.
Any other more personal questions we want to ask today?
Like I said, if there's a need, our navigators are always looking to fulfill those needs. We do have a thrift shop. Oh, sorry. We went through, yes, it's an antique collectible store, gift shop. Thank you. And there's always opportunities for volunteers and donations. 225 Ramsey Street. Its name is Chateau 225.
That's right.
Here in Banning, across the street from the teen center.
Any questions?
Hi, I'm always so glad to see you, and you know that.
Yes, thank you. Likewise.
That particular shop, I've gone there many times to donate clothes there, and it's been wonderful. So thank you for cleaning out my husband's closet. But I wash everything before it goes to you guys, and to let you know that we need to be able to do that during our yard sales sometimes. Gather your clothing, have it dry cleaned, have it washed, things like this, and any business suits or office attire for these people to go out and benefit like everybody else has. And thank you so much, Mija.
Thank you.
Are you willing to give your name and telephone number for contact, please?
I gotta ask my husband for that.
You got me in trouble.
My name is Lucicela Morton. I'm with Faith in Action of San Gregorio, and I'll give you our office number. It is 951-9222-0111. 951-922-0111. And also, we have a table back here with Mario, and that we have information about our organizations and how you can sign up to volunteer, or just to get to know more about us and what we do.
I wanted to add a little bit more to the lady who spoke about the clothing. Yes, we do accept clothing, mostly women's at this point, and we don't put any clothing in our in the gift shop, but we take it to Class C consignments who help us sell the clothing there, and we get a commission. So it's just another little partnership we've got going on. The men's clothing and things, we have actually partnered with HELP so that they will take a lot of the men's clothing and that sort of thing to get people ready for interviews. So clothing is not our main thing that we're looking for. We're looking for collectibles, tchotchkes that your kids don't want, valuables, collectibles, that kind of thing. But most of all, come down to the store and shop, 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 shop.
Any more questions? Going once, going twice. Michelle, it's all yours.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. I think she was a little nervous, and I told her, don't be nervous. They're not going to hurt you. So I want to thank everybody. I know Officer had to leave, and so did Jeffrey. I'm sure they've got some work to go do. But I would like to thank our panel, and I hope it was interesting for you. And I just want to give you a couple of other little updates here. Arnita Worthen has asked me to tell you about this Veterans Expo on August 12th. It's a Saturday from 9 to 12. It's an information and resource fair. It's open to all military, veterans, family, and friends. It's at the Albert Chatney Community Recreation Center on Oak Valley. The address is, I don't have my glasses on, 1310 Oak Valley Parkway. And this is a Pass Area Veterans Expo. So again, this is on August 12th. It's a Saturday from 9 to 12 p.m. And our next event, our next program is going to be on August 1st. And I have a gentleman, Nate Smith, who is the Deputy Director of Public Works and the City Engineer. He's going to be our guest speaker for the Downtown Revitalization Plan. So if you have any questions or anything that you want to ask, or things that you would like to let him know of how you would like to have our downtown looking in the near future, you want to come to this program. I'm also going to have, and it's not on my flyer, but I'm also going to have Vector Control. Vector Control is going to come out and talk about the mosquito problem that we're having. And it's only about a 15, 20-minute presentation, but you'll want to listen to this one also about all the mosquitoes that we're having in our area, standing water and even not standing water. So again, I thank you for participating in our program today, and I hope you got a lot of good information. Thank you.